Okay, we're on page 72 and we're going to do lesson 16, which goes over more complicated evaluations. So basically, it's a lot of the same thing as what we were doing in lesson 14, where you use positive and negatives and use the parentheses for symbols of inclusions, but it's just getting way more complicated. So if you have an equation that looks like this, that's my phone, so don't worry. Okay. Alrighty, so if you have an equation that looks like this, and then they tell you to put in p equals -2 and a equals -4, then what they want you to do, because this is going to get really complicated really quickly, is to let's do it first by putting all the parentheses and brackets. So basically, you rewrite this thing and make it look like this, and just leave out the P's and the A's and just put extra parentheses and brackets. So these parentheses right here, let me show you, P minus A is actually this, or these brackets, okay? And then what is shown in the first thing as these brackets, okay, this is going to be now these in this lower one. And there's a reason that they want you to do it this way, is because it's really easy to mess up the positives and the negatives. So let's just plug in these values, -2 and -4, for the P and the A, and see what happens. So it starts out with the -A. So I'm just going to put, -4 inside those parentheses. And I'm just going to keep all the symbols the same. And then I'm going to put another -4 in place of this A. So -4 here. Whoops, I didn't write that very well, but that's all right. You get the idea. And then where it says P minus A, I'm going to put -2 minus -4. Okay. And then we're just going to simplify from there and use the order of operations. So I'm going to do this P minus A first. -2 minus a -4 is the same as -2 plus 4. Okay, so -2 minus a -4 is -2 plus 4. And, or basically 4 minus 2, if I just switch the order. So it's going to be a +2 in there. And here, these parentheses right here, if I bring this down, and this part minus a -4, I'm just going to simplify that to a +4. And then this one out here is another minus a -4, and I'm going to simplify that to +4. You don't really have to write the plus. So altogether I get 4 times 2 is 8 inside all of that, with a 4 on the outside, so the answer is 32. And that's what they get for their answer. Okay, so in this next example, so they want you to see how to do that first, because that... Okay, sorry about that interruption. Kayla thinks that a tree is going to destroy her house. Okay, so I think she's going to be fine, but that's all right. All right, so the next example is 16.2, and we're going to do this a little bit differently. We are not going to use parentheses. What they say is whenever there's an A, we're going to replace it with -2, just like it says over here, okay? And whenever there is a -A, we're just going to replace it with 2, because remember that -A, this sign, basically means the opposite of A, and the opposite of A is a +2. Okay, and then also whenever there is, whenever there is an X, we're just going to write -6, and whenever there's a -X, we're going to write the opposite of that, which is just a 6. So we're going to rewrite the equation, not the way we did before. not by using parentheses, but just keeping those things in mind, okay? So let's try it. So the first one starts out with a times x. So let's do a, which is -2, times x, which is -6. Okay, easy enough so far. And then we're going to write negative a in the middle, this negative a right here. But we're going to write the opposite of a, so we're just going to make that a 2. And then in parentheses, a, which is -2, minus x, and then x is just going to be this x, which is -6. So I'm going to do -2 minus -6 there. And then we're just going to simplify with that. Okay, so inside of these, -2 minus 6 is the same as -2 plus 6. That's okay. And we're going to put in a 4 right there. Let me make sure that I'm getting this right. -2 plus 6, yeah. And then we're going to keep that 2 on the outside. And then let's simplify this part. -2 times -6 is just 12. 6 times 2 is 12. Okay, so that whole thing is going to simplify to 12 times 8. And you're going to get 96. And that's the final answer. Okay, let's go on to example 16.3. This says to evaluate this expression, and it gives you b is equal to -4, c is equal to -6. So again, what we're going to do is every time there's a b, we're going to plug in -4. If there's a negative b, we're going to plug in +4. If there's a c, we're going to plug in -6. If there's a negative c, we're going to plug in +6. Okay, so we're going to try that again. All right, here we go. I'm recording right now, and Addie has something to say. Addie, say hi to future Zach.
Hi, Zach.
Okay, what's your question?
Katie and Lydia might come over again in like 10 minutes because they need to tell their parents they're going to come over to hang out or something. Is that okay?
Yeah, fine. Okay, so let's plug in those expressions. All right, so we're going to start with -b, and we're going to, that's the opposite of this, so we're going to make it a +4. Okay, and then it's going to be another -b, which is the opposite, so +4. And then on the inside is just b minus c. So it would be -4. And we're going to skip a step, and instead of putting minus c, we're going to do +6. Okay. And then we're going to subtract c minus b this time, -6. But instead of this minus for the b minus b, we're going to add 4 because +4 is the opposite of that. Okay, and then we're going to just simplify this. Okay, so let's do these parentheses first. -6 plus 4, that's going to simplify to -2. And then let's do this parentheses, which is basically 6 minus 4, which is a +2. We're going to bring down everything else. Okay, so this is going to be 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 this time. So it's all going to simplify to 4 times 10, which is 40. And that's what they got. Okay, that's basically the whole lesson. I'll let you do your practice from there. Okay, bye. Okay, Zach, I know that you're going to hate me on this. Sorry, but I need you to go back to page 70, and you are going to do all the practice problems on this page. I don't mean the whole redo all of your homework like before. I just mean do practice A, B, C, and D. And I know that you got A done correctly, but I wanted to do A, B, C, and D to reinforce those concepts, okay? And then you can skip that problem set and just do your homework for page 16 or lesson 16, and that is going to include everything on page 73 and a little bit on page 74. Okay, so you're going to, after you do the practice on lesson 15, do the practice on 16, which is right there, and the whole problem set for 16. Okay, don't be mad because I am a little bit adding to your homework, but you just have to do the 4 problems for the practice set on lesson 15. Okay, got it? All right. See you later. Bye.